To welcome you to today's podcast, we have our two guests again, Fran and John, who have shared with us on retiring in Penang.
Hey, great to be back, Josh.
In today's quick video, we'll be touching on your story on how you guys broke out of the corporate rat race and retired very early. So without giving too much away, let me invite you guys to share a bit on your backgrounds first.
Well, I'm Fran. I'm Malaysian. I lived in Singapore for 13 years. So I started my corporate career in Dell in Penang. And I worked there for 7 years. And then I decided to move to Singapore. And that I became a headhunter in Singapore. And that's where I met John. He was my candidate. I placed him in my client's organization. So I've been working in corporate for 17 years of my life, and I broke out of corporate because I knew that corporate wasn't for me early on. In 2006, when I was still in Dell, I started a bikini business with my then colleague. So I already knew early on when I was 26, 27 years old that corporate wasn't for me. And I tried several businesses along the way, and in 2018 we started our hawker business together.
Okay, so for me, is not so exciting. It's a bit more boring. I'm really a true blue Singaporean. I go through the education route, got my degree, served my national service, and then I worked for 15 years in the corporate, predominantly in the IT sector. So a bit of marketing background, but predominantly sales and business development. And of course, during the phase of my my corporate career, I managed to always have a lot of strategic business discussion with the C-suite people. So I get to really have a very good understanding from in the MNCs that I work in terms of improving my business skill sets, my sales skill sets. But unfortunately, I got stuck in my comfort zone for too long. So for 15 years, towards the last 5-7 years of my career, I feel like just doing the same thing. Then I wasn't really challenging myself, and I knew inside that I probably had a lot more to offer, but I didn't really want to work for other people anymore.
Then maybe get friend to headhunt you to a different job lah.
Yeah, but that's the thing. If I jump from this job to another job, it's pretty much the same thing. And I'm not really exploring what I'm really capable of. And I mean, back in my job was pretty high paying, and I was very comfortable. I have my house and my car quite early in my career. That's why I'm a bit of a Singapore poster boy, right? But the thing is, deep inside, there's nothing really that excites me being a corporate job other than do the bare minimal. Right nowadays, there's new terms, right? Quiet quitting, bare minimal Mondays. But anyway, I really felt that I needed to break out of that comfort zone that's so strong in me, right? Everything is so comfortable.
Then
so
would a sabbatical be useful or not? It sounds like you had a burnout. Maybe you have taken a sabbatical. Yes. That could help.
Yes, pretty much. And I think that was 2016, 17, before we started a hawker business, before we decided to really take the leap. Burnout is probably part of it, but I would say it's more of I was super comfortable, and I was afraid that the next 20, 30 years of my life, I'll work until 65 like this, is not really where I want my life to be headed. So that was around 12 years of my corporate career then. It's like, first time I go and start a business. And it wasn't easy because it's not like I was in my 20s, okay, let's just try here, try there. I've been in the corporate for more than 10 years. So that was a huge stretch for me, and I left because I just needed to challenge myself and try something totally different, like hawker, right? Which is very different.
So I'm very proud of him because from a guy who wears suit and tie every day, go to work nicely, we wear shorts and t-shirt in a hot environment, and then talking to the aunties, uncles who scold us, who are then all the grumpy customers. I'm very proud of him because he handled himself very well. For me, I think I flowed into the hawker business quite seamlessly because I like to cook, I like to talk to people.
You had that entrepreneur drive, like your bikini business idea, to really test yourself. That part I can feel it. So on the hawker business, maybe some story on that journey also.
Yeah, okay. Shall I?
Yeah, go ahead.
So we opened up in Chinatown Hawker Center, and that was in 2018. So we did that for about a year. And then at the same time, Chinatown wanted to close for 6 months to do renovation. It was a major one. So we actually took the opportunity to look for another stall in the meantime. And that was when we closed that one down and we went to Alexandra Market, the one opposite IKEA in Queenstown. So why we actually left Chinatown was because business was good, but we couldn't scale, and we were on all the delivery platforms, but the deliveries weren't coming in because the surroundings were not people were not so tech savvy around the area. And then when we went to Alexandra, it would have had a different problem. Business was also good. However, rental was a lot higher. The footfall was slower. So we had great business on the weekends, but our weekdays were it was like that.
Can
So,
share a bit on the rent or not?
years-
Like, is it cheaper in Alexandra versus China, which has
Oh no!
more footfall?
Oh no! We were paying because we were at NEA hawker stalls, right? So it was via a bidding system. So our Chinatown rental was about, I think it was 2007, 2008, was it? Yeah, 2007, 2008. So that was just a rental per month, right? And then you got your conservancy, you got your table cleaning, then of course you got your utilities and whatnot. And then in in Alexandra, we were paying 3,000 for our rental. And then again, same thing, right? Your table cleaning, conservancy, etc. So our running costs were very, very high. And then we also imported our ingredients from Penang. Because we sold authentic Penang food. To get authentic Penang food, you need to have authentic Penang ingredients. Right? So our costs are pretty high. And then we had a hawker assistant, which we paid him 2,200 a month. So, even every month before we even opened for business, we were already down several $1,000s.
I think the point on scaling is very true. A lot of hawkers can't really scale because employing staff is difficult, right? You can't, employ foreigners for hawker stores. That really tightens the manpower issue, and you have to cook it yourself. I guess that's the journey. Introducing our kind sponsor for today, Moomoo. If you're looking to invest into Singapore stocks especially, they actually have a National Day campaign right now termed Rediscover Singapore. Moomoo has the lowest trading charges for Singapore stocks, $0 in commissions, and if you're an existing user, it's a 1-year promotional period. If you are a new user, fantastic. Right now, signing up, you can get up to $700 worth of welcome rewards. Simply deposit $10,000 and perform 5 trades to earn yourself this maximum tier. There is also a 3,000 tier to get started, and if you're keen, look for my referral codes below. On Moomoo's platform, you will be able to see real-time quotes of Singapore stocks. If you, for example, want to have ownership of Vivo City Mall, Mapletree Pan Asia Commercial Trust could be a REIT that you are keen in. As the saying always goes, it's the easiest to be a landlord than to start an F&B business. But in any case, investing will definitely help you in your financial freedom journey. So if you're keen again, look for links below and we'll dive back to our discussion.
So, Josh, we initially, when we opened the hawker store, we wanted to, build a food empire, right? And that was one of our mechanisms to create passive income for ourselves. Because I'm an entrepreneur, I say I don't want to work for anyone anymore. So early retirement, breaking out of corporate has always been our game plan.
Yes.
Our hawker is just one of the mechanisms to get there, right? Yeah. So of course, after 2 years, we said, wow, this one cannot. We quit our high-paying jobs and we can't earn money from this hawker store. Wow, really cannot. It's foolish to keep pumping in more money just to keep the store alive. It doesn't make sense, right? When we can use our skills and expertise somewhere else to make even more money. So that's when we decided to wrap up and we call it a day for the hawker.
So speaking about this point on getting ready for the hawker business, just in case anyone listening in has that motivation, has that drive, wants to go in this direction also. Could you share a bit on how much you have saved up before starting your hawker business and how much you have spent on renovations and stuff? What are some learning points?
So first of all, it's very important, not just for hawker business, but also for business in general, right? To have the financial runway to hold you through the number of probably years, it wouldn't be months, that you need to make sure that you've given this business enough time, whether it works or not. Now then you got to handle your running costs, your own personal running costs, right? So for us, we came from corporate sector and all that. So naturally, based on our earning capacity there, we have a private condo, and then I own a car as well. So naturally, that's part of our expenses that we need to save up. Of course, it differs from people to people. But what I would suggest for anybody who's interested in starting up, make sure you have the financial runway for you to last, whether it's 1 year or 2 years, depending on what's your business plan, right, to decide on your next course of action. And if it really doesn't work out in our case, after 2 years, we really tried everything that we could, and we know that this business not because we gave up after a few months because it's tough. At least financially, you've got that set up for you to last you through before we both went back to corporate.
Yeah, but the lessons we learned in that hawker stall was tremendous. I never really realize how much people actually support us and love us. Josh, for 2 years, that means 24 months, every single day we had somebody who knew us who came to eat at our stall. Every single day. That to me was very touching, because we didn't know that there's so much support around us until we opened up a humble stall, and then people came and support us, and then customers became friends, friends became customers. it's really amazing.
That part of when, you see people take the time to come down and, give you all the support that you need. I actually started an ice cream business myself also. It didn't do too well. Looking back, maybe some of the branding, some of the packaging, some of the end product stuff wasn't too good also because I wasn't having a lot of experience in F&B. So if you were to round out that point on your hawker journey, what was something that if you look back, you could have done differently that might have impacted the business a lot better? What would be that one nugget of wisdom that you would like to share?
Sure. For me, if I were to restart the stall again, I'll go really heavy, really big on social media. Before the stall even existed, videos on TikTok, on the what's going to come out on the menu, for example, or a sample of the food on Instagram, on Facebook. Really go really heavy on social media way before the stall started, because our mistake was we only started social media 3 to 4 months after the stall was run in.
Agree. John, any points?
Of course, first of all, for anybody who's interested in the hawker business, I would say go for it, right? Even if it fails, at least there's tons of learning lessons, there's tons of experience, whether as a business entrepreneur or somebody who wants to persevere in the food F&B business. These learnings will be tremendous to set you up for your later ons. And I would say if I were to want to continue in the F&B business, not even just the hawker, maybe I will go for a cloud kitchen concept this time around. Cloud kitchen has ability to scale because you can always grow the size to what you want very fast, because the equipment and all the setup is all done for you already. You just need to pay the rent. And of course, if you can really you start small, right? So you start with a smaller kitchen and you can really focus on delivering your food. And one of the things that I also did a bit of research on cloud kitchen is some of the cloud kitchens have ready customer pool for you. For example, they're in Woodlands. They already have, let's say, 200,000 ready customers that potentially will buy into you. This model allows you to go in, dip your feet, and then
test the market.
Don't work, you can faster exit, right? Right, you set up the store and all that. The dismantling process for us was crazy. 2 stores, I had to dismantle everything, NEA, say everything reinstate back to normal, like a normal house, right, where you buy and sell. So that was quite painful, right? That's not the focus that we want to put our time and energy in. We want to focus on creating the food and then scaling the process, and growing. So I would say maybe try a cloud kitchen, or maybe if you're really unsure, even just start a home-based business to just test your food, and then try out before you really grow into the next phase.
Sounds like the minimum viable product theory that a lot of entrepreneurship classes are teaching right now, which is to test whether that thing is okay or not. Then from there you scale. A hawker business naturally is confined to the location, and again, manpower limits everything. But a cloud kitchen, maybe in that aspect can help you achieve your entrepreneurship dreams a lot better. Then let's move on to the next point on your retirement journey.
So we sold our house, we sold our car, we packed up our things, and then we moved in with his parents for a little while because we no longer had a house. And then we bought an investment property for rental. And then we stayed with his mom. We follow more towards Kim and Robert Kiyosaki, where your passive income and then your outflow, your income must always be more than your outflow. Yeah. And if you can survive around that, then that's when you're financially free.
That's why our path is more towards the cash flow game. So when we go by a cash flow game, as what Fran mentioned, Robert and Kim Kiyosaki, right? So it's fantastic, right? They started their retirement journey, I believe, in the 90s. Robert Kiyosaki was around late 40s. Kim Kiyosaki was late 30s. They started with 10,000 of passive income, USD, with real estate, right? With a lot of properties. But the part that really got me is they only spend 3,000 out of 10,000.
Every month.
So why is it they don't spend 5, 6, 7, 8,000 out of 10, but they decided to start with 3? The key is start, right? For us, when we start a retirement journey to Malaysia, right, our new starting point is where we are very excited about. We can't compare to our corporate days where we're earning high-paying jobs, we have a car and all that. Definitely the running cost is higher, right? So in Kim and Robert Kiyosaki's concept, right, they know that the 7,000 extra is going to go back into the investments. And they know that the investments, that they're going to buy more properties because they have more leverage capabilities, right? They can hold bigger loans, right? Going to help them accelerate their net worth and their wealth. So by that short-term sacrifice, just by spending 3,000 a month for them, probably, I don't know how long I don't think it's stated, maybe 3, 4, 5 years, then suddenly that 10K become 15, 20, 30, 40K. So the cash flow game is both your monthly cash flow, how you can increase per month, and also your net worth. So we love this concept, and that is the concept that we went for early retirement.
Yep. And they upscale their lifestyle according to their cash flow, right? Whereas, for example, I mean, I was guilty of it as well. For example, in my old job, I was earning 10, 12K, right? Then I'll also spend around 9, 8, 10,000 a month, right? So, but we've learned, right, based on the hawker and all that, we can actually live on very little, because back in the hawker days, just a very short one, we worked 6 days, and on our rest day, we were actually very busy doing banking and buying supplies and whatnot. We actually have no time to spend money, even if we wanted to, right? So every night, we watch Netflix and we sleep early, and that's all we need, right? I don't need to buy new clothes. There's no makeup because I don't wear any at the hawker stall. Whereas back in corporate, new clothes, new bag, new shoes, eating out, drinks, it's a lot of money spent. So we learn how to scale our life down and be contented with little. However, as our passive income goes up, that's where we scale our life up as well. And that's a very important tool which not many people are used to using, because, money in, money out, and they always assume they have a job.
So if I were to hear and summarize the key points, the first is that you manage to build your passive income to be above your expenses. And once it's above, you would invest the surplus, and you believe that will compound your passive income sources also. Then the second is to keep your expenses low. And being through the hawker business, you realize that you had a side of frugality that you never knew of, and you manage to squeeze out expenses such that you are compounding cash flows way bigger than your expenses currently.
Well, we don't really like the word frugal, because it means scarcity and lack. I mean, we live well, we eat well, we travel well, right? We don't go like, ramen is 20 ringgit. Well, I cannot. Let's find 11 ringgit ramen. We don't do that. We don't do that. Even in Singapore, we go for nice Japanese meals, and we spend the money. It's actually more of a prioritization. So, for example, if I used to go for, let's say, branded handbags, I don't anymore. It's weighing off the cost. Like, one branded handbag can take me to Bali. I rather choose the experience rather than a branded handbag, right? So it's that kind of choice that gets us to where we are today. If 10,000 is coming in, we don't really want to spend the 10K. We spend maybe 5K, right? And take that 5K and reinvest it back, because in the future, that 10K will go into 20K to 30K, and then of course we scale our lifestyle to that.
Yeah,
and I just to give you an example, just when we first came back to Penang, I met up with my ex-Dell colleagues, right? And then they said, "Oh, you're very good, you retire already, Then I said, yeah, retire already. Then they asked me, what car do you drive? I said, we bought a new Honda City. Then someone asked me, why not buy a Mercedes? Since you're so rich, I said, but why should I? So that is the exact mentality of someone who needs to work versus us, right? Like, why should I buy a Mercedes just to drive around Penang and maybe just the occasional road trips, right? And this car I'm already intending to sell when we go back to Singapore in a few years' time, you see. But people don't see it that way. They see the car as a status symbol. You're retired, therefore you're rich. Therefore, you need to drive a Continental car, a Mercedes, or even a Ferrari to show off.
If you're on YouTube viewing this, help us smash a like, smash a subscribe. That's all we ask, delivering you this fantastic content. And don't forget to check our kind sponsor for today, Moomoo, with their National Day campaign. So, Fran and John, maybe a last piece of advice.
Okay, so for me, if you want to early retire or semi-retire, right, it doesn't fall by accident. It doesn't come by accident. It is a deliberate intention that you want to early retire and you plan towards that, and you need to commit to it.
Anyone listening in, if you have questions for Fran and John, do leave in the comment sections. I guess they'll also be picking up from there. Thank you, Fran and John, again for stepping in. We'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you, Josh.